Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. It has been a crazy week here. We've had painters in the house all week, painting a huge area of our house, our entryway, which leads all the way upstairs. It's a cathedral ceiling, 3 stories high, so yeah, we couldn't have done it on our own for sure. And the house has settled over the years, and so there were a lot of cracks and damage to repair. So they did a fabulous job. I will show you a few photos of how it turned out. So we still have to put everything back, obviously, the pictures on the walls, and there's a table and a bookcase. In the meantime, I'm looking at a laundry basket full of books down here. We're getting ready to travel for Easter weekend, going up to see my family in Rochester, New York. Both of our sons will be there. Our older son just accepted a job, so it's big reason for celebration this weekend, and can't wait to see everyone. So on to Friday Reads. I realized I don't think I ever mentioned this in a Friday Reads, but in between my last 2 books, I did read Parachute Kids by Betty C. Tang. It's a middle grade graphic novel, beautiful illustrations, and a fascinating topic. It is about 3 kids. The narrator is 10 years old, so that's why it's middle grade. But her older sister and brother are 16 and 14. The 3 of them come to the U.S. on a family vacation from Taiwan, where their family lives, with their mom and dad. But then their dad goes back to work, their mom's visa expires, and the kids are left on their own in the U.S., in California, starting at a new school. The 10-year-old really knows no English, so yeah. So the parents had this plan, and apparently this is a real thing that happens a lot and has been happening. The novel is actually set in 1981. The author says she experienced something very similar to this in 1979 when she was 10 years old. So very autobiographical here. And I read a couple of articles about Parachute Kids because I was so fascinated by this. These days, well, I guess there's a mix. It's mainly Chinese parents sending their kids to the U.S. for school to get a better education. In this case, coming from Taiwan, they were trying to get their kids away from what was going on there at the time, the violence and the potential for problems, as well as get a better education. I guess in real life, there's a combination between Chinese parents sending their kids to private schools in America, where there might be dormitories or host families, to situations more like what's described here, where the kids are kind of on their own, living on their own, and going to public school. It was fascinating, but it's also a very entertaining book. It's got a sense of humor, all kinds of topics here, not just immigration and the language barrier, but all kinds of adolescent topics here. The teens especially are dealing with a lot of things, typical teen things, in addition to trying to assimilate and, understand American culture and become a part of life here. So fascinating book, fascinating backstory, and very entertaining. It's very well written, and the illustrations are beautiful. I guess Betty did both the illustration and the text. So, and it uses yellow dialogue boxes for when they're speaking in Taiwanese and white when they're speaking in English, so that you get a sense of the language barrier. It was very good. Since I finished that, I've been reading The Audacity by Ryan Chapman. This is an ARC that I got, though the official release date for the book is next Tuesday, April 2nd. This is my second book read for Booktopia, that wonderful event that I go to in the spring every year in Vermont. My mom and I go together, and yeah, it's authors and readers hanging out together all weekend, enjoying meals together, playing book trivia, and of course hearing from the authors as well. Wonderful weekend. So this is my second book for Booktopia. So The Audacity, it's an unusual book. So it is a satire. It is loosely based on the sort of story as what happened in real life with Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. She was the woman that created this company that she said was going to revolutionize the laboratory testing industry. With simple blood tests you could do at home with just a pinprick. And of course, you probably are all familiar with this story. It was a complete fraud. The technology didn't work. She had all kinds of investors, and yeah, I think she's serving time in jail now. So it's based on a story like that. There's Victoria, who started a company called Preview with these self-serve medical booths located all over the world. So you go into one of these booths, it can do all kinds of testing for you. And so you can see the parallels there. But the company's bigger mission was nothing less than to cure cancer. And the news is about to come out that what they were trying to do, the latest thing that they were following up on, the oncologist has said, it's not going to work. So this news is about to break. So Victoria's husband, Guy, he was kind of a middling musical composer, never really got to a very high level, but that's what he used to do. And then he met Victoria. So since their marriage, she is this like high-powered executive, go, super motivated. This is where a lot of the satire comes in, really. And he is kind of a not all that motivated guy who is happy to just ride on her coattails. He is running the philanthropic arm of their organization. So Guy comes home from a gala in New York City, and there's an emergency board meeting from Preview, and he joins in, and they say it's a Zoom meeting, and he joins in and finds out that Victoria is missing. And everybody's, oh, she's presumed dead. She went out kayaking in the San Francisco Bay, and only her kayak came back. And Guy's shocked, of course. And then after a few hours, he begins to realize, knowing his wife, no, she's not missing. She's not dead. This is her way of rebooting, of disappearing and escaping from the media onslaught that's coming. And he's absolutely right. The beginning of chapter 2, you see Victoria hiding out in a remote cabin in the California desert. So Guy feels, the rug's been pulled out from him. She didn't tell him she was planning this. So he really feels betrayed. What he decides to do, Victoria had an invitation to this very exclusive private island with this thing called the Quorum, gathering the wealthiest people in the world together to solve the world's problems. If you saw the Hulu series Murder at the End of the World, it's a very much like that, only a tropical island instead of a remote compound in Iceland. So there's a lot of satire there too. So Guy takes her place at the quorum, and he just decides, if my life's going to fall apart and I'm going to lose all the money and possibly my wife, who betrayed me anyway, I might as well go out with a bang. So he sees the weekend as an opportunity to just luxuriate in this amazing place. There's a lot of drinking, drug use, sex. Yeah, if you're offended by any of that in books, this is not for you. But it is fairly funny, particularly in the middle, because the author is poking fun not only at like the Theranos type fraud, but also at this gathering of billionaires trying to solve the world's problem. So there's humor, there's heavy satire. At the beginning of the book, I was thinking to myself, I think I prefer my satire in small doses, like short stories or essays. But it has grown on me, and Guy's character has grown on me. I feel for him. I feel bad for him. However, it'll be interesting at Booktopia because I don't know that everyone is going to feel that way. I'm not offended by much. I'm very tolerant of books. I try to, find what's good about them. One of my fellow Booktopians, another woman who goes every year, she reached out to me last night and messaged me and said, I saw on Goodreads you're reading The Audacity. What do you think? So I was explaining to her, like here, and turns out she hated it, hated everything about it. So she told me to get back to her when I finish it, and I will. I'm about 80% now, so I'm almost there. But definitely it's not for everyone, but I'm enjoying it. Finally, on audio, I just finished out middle grade March with a wonderful middle grade novel, Home Away from Home by Cynthia Lord. It fit the prompt of an animal on the cover. There is both an animal and a bird. So this is about 12-year-old Mia. She's going through a lot of changes in her life right now. Her parents are divorced. Her mom is seeing someone new. They've decided to get a fresh start by selling their house, the house that, she lived in with her ex-husband, and moving to a new house. So all this is going on. Over the summer, they're going to clean up the house, sell it, and find a new house. Mia is spending the summer with her grandmother in Maine, something she loves doing and looks forward to every year. And she's thinking, at least at Grandma's house, everything is always the same. She loves the little small seaside town. She's got her, routines there with her grandma. She's really looking forward to it. And then she gets there and finds out things aren't the same this year. There's a next door neighbor, a boy her age, named Cayman, who's like always hanging out at her grandma's house, and she doesn't understand this. Cayman's mom seems really strange and not friendly at all. So she's trying to escape all this change, and then things are changing here too. She and Cayman go out to the point. The area is known for a pair of baby eaglets that are on a webcam, and the two eagles that had the babies were named by the town, and it's part of the town. So she and Cayman go out to check out the eaglet's nest and look at the babies, and they see this white bird of prey flying near the eagles that they have never seen before. And Mia starts to look into it, and no one knows what this is. No one's ever seen it before. So a bit of a mystery here. Nature is a strong theme throughout the book, which I loved. But as with many middle grade novels, there's also all kinds of issues that these kids are dealing with. Obviously, the divorce changes when, you're used to things being the same. New friends. There's a lot here about social media. Mia kind of learns the hard way some of the dangers of social media and posting too much online. There's stuff going on with Cayman's mom, which I won't spoil because you don't learn that until the end of the book. So there's a lot here to dig into, lots of emotional depth, which you know I always like. Excellent novel. I've enjoyed Cynthia Lord's novels before, and this one's very good. So that's what I'm reading this week and listening to. I would love to hear what you're reading. Please let me know in the comments down below.